So who wants to be a disciple? 2 hands went up. Whew, we got a lot of work to do. This is why we're here, right? This is we say that's our vision statement, the vision of St. Gerald. It's not St. Gerald's, it's not mine, it's not this leadership team's vision. The vision of making disciples of all nations, becoming disciples and making disciples is why we're here. Period. Why we're here, and through discipleship, we come into holiness. It's only through discipleship that we come into holiness and that we make our way to heaven. And Jesus makes it real clear to us in the gospel today what discipleship looks like. He lays out the conditions of discipleship. He says, whoever wishes to come after me, in other words, whoever wants to be my disciple must deny himself, take up his cross, and follow me. Deny, take up, follow. Boy, that's hard, isn't it? He's basically saying, if you're going to follow me, if you really want to be a Catholic, if you really want to be all in, then you got to be willing to give it all up. You want to be all in? You want to experience life to the fullest? You want to go on an adventure of your life, the most exciting life you ever lived in? Then you got to be all in. And to be all in, you got to give everything up. Give everything to me. And that's something you and I will work on the rest of our lives. He's always asking us to let go and let God. Where is Jesus right now in your life? Everyone in here, he's put something on your heart, and you got to let go. And he's calling you to change. Where is Jesus calling you today to change? What is it he's calling you to work on today? What is it he's asking you to deny? What are those pleasures he's asking me in my life to deny myself? You know, within me, I have certain passions and desires that are not of God. And so do you. And he's asking me to deny myself. What does that mean, to deny myself? In other words, he's saying, die to yourself. Where's Jesus calling you to die to yourself? Where's he calling you to put down your anger, to put down your weapons, to put down your pride? To defer to your wife when you don't want to defer to her. To defer to your husband when you don't want to defer to him. Where is he calling you to humility? Dietrich Bonhoeffer, a great Lutheran theologian who died in the concentration camps, in his book called The Cost of Discipleship, he says, when Jesus calls a man to follow him, he bids him to die. It's one of my favorite quotes. When Jesus calls you to follow him, which he is, he calls you, he bids you to die. Are you willing to die? Not just physical death, we're all going to die. But he bids you to die to yourself. Where's Jesus calling me to die to myself? What is it I'm hanging on to that's getting between me and Jesus, that's preventing me from being all in? And usually what that thing we're hanging on to is fear. If we're honest, we're afraid. And that's okay. To be afraid is normal, okay? That's okay. We should expect to feel fear. Jesus felt fear in the Garden of Gethsemane enough to sweat blood. That was what that was all about. He was feeling the fear that every one of you feel in life. Fear of what? Fear of dying. Fear of suffering. I can go on a whole litany, but we'll do too long of homily. Fear of what people will think of me. Not that any of you guys ever have any of these concerns. What will people think of me? Fear of losing my job if I really speak out and stand up for my faith and I defend my faith. Fearing not getting reelected to office if I really am a Catholic politician. The fear of looking stupid, giving a homily. The fear of losing track of what I was going to preach about and just standing up here dead silent. The fear of what you think of me. The fear of failing. How's that one? That's a big one. The fear of failing. What if I really step out and follow Jesus? If I really go all in and follow him, what if? I call them the what ifs. What if it doesn't work out? What if I sell my practice and leave everything in Nashville and move to Omaha, Nebraska, who I know nobody up here? What if it doesn't work out? You know what he said to me? Then come back to Nashville. Not the end of the world, but it's worked out. It's been a great life. It's been a really hard life, but it's been nothing more fulfilling than being one of his priests. Most exciting thing I've ever done in my life. But when he calls you to take up your cross, he's going to call you to take some risk. Are you willing to take risk? Look at that. He risked his whole life for you. Look at the chance he took. He risked his whole life, knowing that not everybody in this world is going to accept him. That's what that sweating of blood was about. That's what that broken heart was about, his sacred heart. He knew in his heart that even though I'm going to give it all, I'm going to give my all to the whole world, and the whole world's not going to accept me. That's a risk that you and I take. Not everybody's going to accept my position. They're not going to accept me as I am, as a Christian. But just on a personal level, where's he calling you to die? Where's he calling you to deny yourself? What is that cross for you? We all have at least one. What is that cross he's asking you to take up? In other words, to embrace. Maybe it's physical suffering that you're going through. Maybe your cross has a name. It's your husband, or your wife, or your child, or, I'm going to stand up for the kids here, or your parent. We're always picking on the kids. Let's pick on the parents. Maybe your cross, I see a young girl right there, maybe your cross is your mom and your dad, having to put up with their imperfections. And having to put up the imperfections of your children. Maybe that's your cross, a fallen away kid, a rebellious kid. Losing a job. Dealing with inconveniences. Having to wear a mask at Mass. That's a cross. Unless you like wearing masks, I don't know, maybe you like it. Right? I mean, I can go on and on. These are all crosses. But when we embrace them, and we embrace them gladly, and then we say, not my will, but your will be done. I don't understand why we're going through all this that you're letting me go through, but Lord, I accept it, and I embrace this with you. And I pray that this dying to myself, Lord, with you, Jesus, might bring forth new life into the world. That's the great blessing of the cross. There's hidden blessings in the cross. That's why he says, take up your cross. In other words, don't be afraid of your cross. Don't be afraid of suffering. Don't be afraid, because I have conquered sin and death. And by you taking up your cross, I'm going to bring new life to your marriages, to your families, to your parishes, and to the whole world. I'm going to bring new life. That's the great Christian paradox. The great Christian paradox is that life comes through death. But Satan does not want you to know that little hidden secret. That's why Jesus says in the gospel today what he says. This comes right after, you remember, he says 3 times, he's telling them, his disciples, that the Son of Man is going to be arrested, he's going to suffer, he's going to die, but he's going to rise on the 3rd day. And the first time he shared that with those 12 men, guess what Peter said to him? Oh no, Jesus, not if I have anything to say about it. You're not taking up any cross. Nobody's going to touch you. I'll defend you. And we all know the story of Peter. Did he defend him when he needed help? Negative. Jesus says to Peter, get behind me, Peter. See if you know your scripture. Get behind me, Peter. What does he say? Get behind me, Satan. Is Peter Satan, our first pope? No. But Jesus recognizes who's talking through Peter. It's not Peter talking to him, it's Satan tempting him, tempting you not to take up your cross, to see it as a curse rather than as a blessing. You see, Satan, just like he did with Jesus, he does not want you to take up your crosses because he knows it's going to bring new life, to your marriage, to your family, and to the whole world. Your little crosses, just little old you, brings life to the whole world. Isn't that amazing? So when we unite our crosses, our suffering with Jesus on this altar, he's bringing forth new life to the whole world. You and I, by virtue of our baptism, we are co-redeemers with Jesus Christ. Did you know that? You're co-redeemers. Not in and of yourself, but when you and I unite our suffering with him, we gladly embrace our crosses. We don't grumble about our crosses like we do sometimes. We grumble, well, why do I have to turn off the TV? Why do I have to clean my room? Right? There's a few young people here. So when mom says turn the TV off, clean up your room, she's basically saying embrace the cross. No. No. Why did I have to do that? You see, there's a part of you, a part of me that we don't want to die because something in you has to die, right? And that's something in me that doesn't want to die. It's called pride. Pride. But humility says, yes, I'll turn the TV off and I'll gladly do it. And as soon as you turn that TV off and you do it out of obedience, whoosh, life goes out into the world, just like a tsunami wave. Boom. Where's God calling you to take up your cross? What is that cross for you? Where is Satan trying to tempt you to save yourself, to run from the cross? Where's Satan tempting you to self-medicate and to run from suffering? There is no Christianity without the cross. There is no glory without the cross. No cross, no glory. The cross is a gift from God. If we could just see it for what it is, it's actually a gift. And he's showing us this is the pathway to heaven, is through the cross. You can't get around it, but it's by embracing it with Jesus, knowing that he's suffering those things with you, that he's bringing forth new life. Please stand.